I'm not seeing anyone down here in Miami doing it like Guy is.
Honestly, man, I've never seen anyone work that hard.
Everything he does it with passion.
This kid is phenomenal.
He's still hungry. He still acts like it's his first time.
I've never seen anything like it.
His dedication to anything he does is just spectacular.
This guy's gonna dominate.
Congratulations, man! You did it! Your first buzzer, buddy!
Hi everyone, welcome for another extraordinary authentic interview. So today we are with Calle Alexander. So he's like a real life ninja. He's awesome, he's an athlete. He competed in American Ninja Warrior multiple times and he trains others to do the same. So thanks a lot for joining, it's so cool.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, so let's start with the beginning. So what was your first experience with sport? Like when you were young? What kind of sports did you do when you were a child?
Yeah, I grew up actually playing multiple sports, but mainly tennis. I think I picked it up when I was 9. I played very competitively until the age of 18. Wanted to go to college, but it didn't work out, so I kind of stopped. Then I got into a little bit of like bodybuilding, weightlifting workouts for about a year, so I got kind of big. And then I found parkour and Ninja Warrior. I saw it on TV, and I used to watch the original version from Japan. And so I thought that was cool. So I went to I found a gym nearby that does parkour and flipping and some ninja obstacles. And I fell in love with it like immediately. So I just started training, and eventually I was like, I want to be on the show. So I think that was about 4 years ago, and I just haven't stopped ever since.
Wow, nice. So you said you started with tennis. Why tennis?
My father and my little brother at the time were playing tennis. And my father put me in a summer camp where they just play tennis most of the time. I don't know. I liked it a lot. It was I used to like soccer, and I think tennis was a very close kind of sport to it. Everybody in the world played, so it was really cool, and I kind of fell in love with it. And I like single sports. I don't like team sports. I'm very selfish in that way. Like whenever I played soccer, I would always hog the ball. I would never pass it. So when I played tennis, I was like, oh, I don't have to pass it. It's just me. So I like more individual sports.
Cool. So when you started to train for like ninja stuff, I guess, did you go to the gym? Did you build something in your backyard? Like, how did you do it?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to have a parkour gym nearby that had some ninja obstacles. It was very basic. It had the salmon ladder, it had the warped wall, it had stuff you can hang so you can like train grip strength. So I went there most of the time, and then eventually I did build something in my backyard as well. So yeah, I just started with that, and it was mostly just grip stuff because I was such a beginner that my grip was not good at all. So I had to really build up my grip strength. So, and then the parkour helped a lot with balance and with body movement. I think that's something that most people don't know that they don't have. When they start Ninja Warrior, they're like, how do you move your body to, get to the next obstacle? Like it's very new type of workout. So yeah, definitely just found a gym nearby, and if not, then I think building something is the next best thing.
Okay, then I know you coach other people to do ninja parkour and all these things. So how did you get into coaching?
Eventually, I got pretty good at ninja. Started competing a lot, and people would ask to train if I could train them, and they would pay me. So I started doing a few privates a week just by my own, but I didn't have a gym, so it was kind of hard. And then this new gym opened up nearby in Miami, about half hour away, and it was a purely ninja gym. It wasn't much parkour. It was just a lot of obstacles and grip training. And as soon as I got there, I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then I saw that they needed trainers. So I was like, I might as well just try to apply. I mean, I'm still kind of new, but I would, I applied anyways. And they're like, yeah, we need coaches. So, really, it was very, they needed a coach and I wanted to coach. So it was really easy. And yeah, after that, I just started doing classes and privates. And now there's another gym called ATP that's around my neighborhood. And I also coach there as well. And I do privates and classes and all that stuff. And I love it. I mean, I get to share my information. I get to teach young kids. And it's just so rewarding to see them grow. And yeah, I love it.
Yeah, interesting. So did you compete in like regional competitions right away, or did you wait a few years to train? Like, when did you start competing, basically?
Yeah, 4 years ago, I think I started, and there wasn't much competition back then. It was really just the show was kind of still growing. But after about a year, I think I tried my first competition. I actually traveled to another state in the United States, Maryland, because I heard that they had a huge competition, and I did bad. I think I fell on the first obstacle. I was so nervous, didn't know how to just handle the pressure. But yeah, I was very, very eager to compete. I wanted to be on the show immediately. I didn't get to compete my first year. They didn't pick me, and it was hard to get on. So I was just, trying to do local gym competitions, but there weren't a lot back then. Nowadays, I think 2 years ago, they started leagues outside of the show. So not the actual show, but outside of the show, there's a league called National Ninja League, and they have their own competitions and they have their own national finals and live streams and all that stuff. And that's great because that's great practice for the show and also great exposure for the sport that's growing. So now there's definitely, every weekend I go on the internet and I can find a competition I can travel to if I wanted to. So it's great now that the sport has gotten to that point.
Yeah, it's so cool. I think I saw one of your videos that's pretty old. I think the title was Backyard Ninja Warrior, something like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was one of the
yeah, can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, this guy really wanted to be on the show. He got on it, but he also wanted to train. So I think he hired a few people to help him build a backyard course because he has a huge backyard, a lot of space. And so he got the right people and made this huge backyard course. These obstacles were, full scale. He had a bunch of mattresses in case you fell. I mean, yeah, that backyard course was cool. And once he started making competitions in his backyard, it just got so popular. Like everybody now knows about his backyard, and whenever he has a competition, he has hundreds of people to go and compete. So yeah, that backyard, I think he calls it the Enchanted Ninja Forest. Yeah,
That's a great name.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. It got really popular.
Nice. Okay, so let's talk about American Ninja Warrior. So I think you started with the 8th edition, right?
Yeah, I started with season 8.
I saw your submission video. It's so cool, by the way. I love the part with you work at Starbucks, right?
I used to, yeah.
I love this part. It was so so funny. How was it to pick this part?
I think that's the only reason they picked me that year is because I did that.
Nice one. Okay, so what was it like to compete in your first time in Ninja Warrior? Was it fun?
Man. Yeah, I've always been a good athlete. I've been pretty strong, easy to learn new moves and get better. But mentally, I've never been amazing, especially in tennis. I always knew mentally that was my weakness, is mental toughness for athletics. And yeah, it showed in the first year. I was super nervous. I didn't know how to handle the pressure. I was constantly stressed. Even the second year, first 2 years were really bad mentally. But yeah, first year I was definitely ready to hit a buzzer. I was strong enough. My training definitely was where it needed to be. But mentally, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't get through the obstacles calmly with a plan. And so I made a mistake right before the warped wall where you hit the buzzer. So yeah, I didn't have a great plan for the upper body obstacle. And I ended up wasting too much energy, and I ended up falling early. And yeah, I didn't get another chance. And yeah, I think it was purely mental. Athletic, like I said, physically I was 100% ready, but mentally it was just not ready.
Okay, interesting. So you said it was the two, like the 8th time and the 9th time. And when it was American Ninja Warrior 10, I saw your video where you talk about mental toughness. And
Yeah.
I'm so, it's so crazy to think it has only 200 views, because I think it's one of your best videos, like most valuable. And
Thank you.
it's amazing to think, okay, people are not actually interested in what's the best for them, maybe. So yeah, let's talk a bit about mental toughness. So what did you implement in your life in order to work on it?
Yeah. Honestly, just research. So I started Googling, I started YouTube, searching for as much research as I can on what champions do, what professional athletes do to better their mental toughness, because I always hear how important it is, especially in tennis. I mean, I know maybe not a lot of my audience or your audience might not know about tennis, but when you play tennis, mental toughness is very well talked about for athletes growing up playing tennis. And I always knew the importance. So when I fell in season 9, I was like, all right, I need to fix this, because obviously this is all mental. Like physically, I know I can do it, but it's always mentally that messes me up. So I started researching a lot, and I ended up finding this book. I believe it's called, it's in the video. I mentioned the book in my video.
Okay.
I think it's called Champion Mindset, something like that. Hopefully, maybe you can link it in the description.
Put it on the screen.
Yeah. I'll send it to you. But yeah, I found this book, and I basically, it was an audio book, and I listened to it really well, and I studied it, and I implemented all the examples and tips that it gave me into my own life. And within about, a month or two, I started seeing big improvements in my mental game, because I started competing in just local competitions, or even making my own courses and trying to implement the mental strategies in my training. And I can see a huge difference in my mental toughness, because it's hard to talk about. It's easy to talk about strength and physical strength. You can see a physical growth. Like if you do bicep curls at a gym for a few months, like you'll see a growth in your biceps. But it's hard to say, like, mentally I'm getting stronger. How do you know? You don't see mental toughness. You have to judge it for yourself. But I definitely saw a calmness in my whenever I competed after working on mental toughness. I saw myself being more calm. I saw myself being more in the moment. I can see, I can just feel more efficient on the course. And yeah, just the best way to describe it is calm. Like I wasn't stressed. I wasn't freaking out before my run, because usually I would get butterflies in my stomach and I would start really stressing out. But once I really implemented what I learned from reading this book, it started coming together much better. So I think, yeah, mental toughness is so huge, so big in athletics and any sport. And a lot of people don't talk about it, especially if you're young, because you don't understand it. You don't know how important it is. So yeah, mental toughness is really important.
That's really cool. You talked a lot about goal setting in your video as well.
Yeah.
Could you explain a bit more, like how you set your goals now?
Yeah, goal setting is huge. So goal setting, I separate them in short term, mid-term, and long term. And short term should be anywhere between like a week and like a month or two, maybe. Something that you can definitely cross off your list easily. Midterm is something maybe, within a few months, maybe 6 months at max. And then long term is something that's over 6 months for me. And so I organize them like that. And then on top of that, whatever goal I have, for example, if my goal is to do 5 one-arm pull-ups, I think that was one of my goals. And I would separate them as gold, silver, and bronze. So gold is like my absolute goal that I want really badly. So I would put 5 for gold. And then silver would be, let's say, like four pull-ups, 4 pull-ups. And then bronze is like, oh, I would like to get this goal to good start, you know? So it would be 3. So while I'm working on getting 5, I can cross off 3 and 4. And then mentally, that actually gives you a mental boost. Like, you feel good about yourself. When you cross something off of your goals list, you feel so good. And that's such a confidence boost. It's such a mental boost. And it's really important to grow your confidence. Is one thing I learned. You want to be able to cross. The more you can cross off, first of all, you're improving physically, but also mentally, you're giving yourself confidence. You're almost one thing that champion athletes have is a lot of confidence. Like, when they step onto whatever platform they're going to do, whether it's a basketball player or a soccer player, like, they already have in their mind that they're going to win. They are assured that they're going to win. That's how they think. And that's because of confidence, because reassurance, because they've reassured themselves in their training that they're good enough to do what they want to do. So definitely being able to cross off a lot is important, and always updating it. So once you cross everything off, okay, cool, erase it, and I'll put a new goal, something that's going to challenge yourself. So definitely I think the short-term goal is the most important, because if you set your goals too hard in your short term, you're never going to cross anything off, or you're going to be crossing it off very, very slowly. So you should have very realistic goals. And also, I like having the gold, silver, and bronze, because that allows me to cross off even more while I'm getting to my goal. So yeah, goal setting is one of the keys.
Interesting. So do you have some, let's say, reward or punishments, whether you actually make your goal or don't?
Any what?
Any like rewards, or like if you don't make your goals, like let's say in 2 months, and you said you wanted to make it in 2 months, what happens? Do you punish yourself in a way, or?
I personally don't. I find that I usually have pretty realistic goals. If I don't make a goal in a certain amount of time, I'll just push it back and I'll say it's okay. And at least I usually have at least bronze crossed off by then. So at least I'll feel like, okay, at least I got that goal down, that extent. And then the gold of it would be just pushed back a little bit further. But yeah, for me, I don't do that, but maybe it's other people might, and everybody's different, everybody's mind is completely different. So if that works for you, if you want to set like a punishment, like, oh, I'll have to do 100 burpees if I don't get my goal or something, it's more motivation. But for me, I find that the motivation is already there. I already have the desire to improve. And so if I don't get a goal at the time that I set it, then I know it's okay, and I know I just have to keep working at it. Or maybe the goal was a little bit too unrealistic, or it was too hard of a goal, and that's okay. I know I eventually will get it if I keep working on it. So, but yeah, everybody's different. If you think punishment will help or a reward will help at the end of it, go for it.
Interesting. And so in the same topic, you talk in the same video about visualization. And when you interviewed other athletes about mental toughness, they said visualization as well. So I guess it's really, really important. For me, it's really hard to visualize as the first person, mainly. Third person is okay. So how can you improve it? Like, do you need to do it a lot? How did you work on it?
Just practice. I mean, I think everybody has to start somewhere. Again, growing up, my mental toughness was terrible. It was not good. So when I started practicing mental training, visualization training, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't far from perfect. I would get distracted very easily. Sometimes I would go into the third person and I'd be like, crap, I need to go back to the first person. And yeah, it's just practice. The more you practice, the better it gets. And if it helps, maybe when you mental train, try to do something from memory. So for example, like when I go through a ninja course, it's hard to imagine a course that you've never been on. So maybe when you start, I would start by trying to mentalize a course that I've already been on. So if the gym that I always go to, I can mentalize a course there because I've been there so many times. And so it's almost taking it from memory. So I think in the beginning, maybe try to take try to mentalize something from your own memory. That will be a little bit easier. And then try to not get distracted. That's the hardest thing that I think everybody will struggle with. So if you struggle with concentrating, that's fine. Like I'll go through a course and sometimes I'll be like, oh, what do I have to do? I have to do groceries today. What do I have to buy in the grocery store in the middle of a course, you know? And then I'm like, wait, no, I'm mentalizing right now. I should be, going back. So trying to concentrate is definitely, don't worry about it if you're bad at it at first. But yeah, the more you practice, the better it gets. And I don't think you'll ever be perfect. Even me, like now I do it and I'm not perfect with it, but just doing it helps. And it helps, get ready for your next competition. It helps you get ready for training, whatever it is. The more you practice, the better you'll get.
Great. Thanks for this tip. I will try to implement it. And,
yeah.
Another thing that really fascinates me, I think you talked about it just after American Ninja Warrior 9. You talked about mental toughness and nutrition. So let's get to the nutrition part. So I think you are on a vegan diet now, but are you still on ketogenic diet? And if yes, can you explain a bit more what it's about?
Yeah. The ketogenic diet is very popular right now, and that's why I did the experiment. I'm not on it anymore, but I was on it for about 3 weeks straight. And if you don't, people who are watching that don't know, I am vegan, so I don't consume any animal products. So I did a vegan ketogenic diet, and it is possible. I know some people may think it's very hard or impossible, but it wasn't as bad as you would think. And I did it just to experiment because a lot of people were telling me, oh, the ketogenic diet is, the diet that you need to be on, and it has so many benefits, this and that. And I wasn't 100% sold, but a lot of people did believe it. So I wanted to try it for myself. And so I also wanted to document it so that if anybody else is interested in it, they can watch my experience and, gain more knowledge before they decide if they want to do it or if they want to keep doing it. So I did it specifically to find out if it's good for athletes. And what I found was that it shows benefits if you're an endurance athlete. So if you're a biker, a swimmer, a runner, anything that involves, long distance, a lot of studies show that it shows benefits. But whenever they experimented with explosive athletes, like power lifters or even ninja, where you're not on the how do I say? You're using a fast twitch muscle fibers. So anything like that, it doesn't show much benefit. It shows more benefit when you're running on glucose and you have more ATP. So as a ninja, I'm on the fast twitch muscle fiber. I'm on the course for a minute to 5 minutes max usually. So I'm not an endurance athlete. I usually only use glucose, sugar, whenever I'm on the course. I never switch over to fat as my fuel. That only happens when you're in an endurance sport. So for me, I personally felt, I wasn't on the diet long enough, I think, to really, really experience the true ketogenic diet, but I was long enough to experience being in ketosis and running off of fat. And I felt my energy was not there. I would work out. If my workout was an hour long, the first 5 to 15 minutes was good. And then after 15 minutes, my energy would dip very low and I wouldn't be able to have a good workout. Same thing when I competed at a competition once, and same thing, first few minutes was fine. And then immediately I hit a wall and I couldn't get past it. So my conclusion was, if you're an explosive athlete, if you're in that kind of sport, be mindful that it may not work and that it doesn't seem to be a good idea. If you're doing it for weight loss or if you're an endurance athlete, then it could definitely work. And another conclusion I made is that it's possible to do it on a vegan version or a more plant-based approach. A lot of people think you have to eat a lot of bacon and butter And it's not true. You can have avocados, nuts, seeds. You can have tofu. There's a much healthier way of doing it is to do it with low to no animal products in the ketogenic diet because of the high saturated fat, cholesterol, and other harmful effects of so much animal products in the diet. So I think if you're going to do it, try to do it with as little animal products as possible. It is very possible, and it shows to be more beneficial that way. So yeah, it was a cool experiment. I'm glad I did it. I don't think I'm ever going to do it again, but it's out there. So if anybody wants to watch it, I put it as the Plant Strong ketogenic experiment.
Interesting. So what was your diet like a few years ago, like before you were on this specific diet?
Before the ketogenic diet?
Yeah.
Right before it, or
like, were you vegan like way back then, or is it something pretty new?
Yeah. Okay. So I started vegan, I think 2 years ago. No, sorry, 3 years ago.
Okay.
I first started, I didn't have much knowledge, so I just ate a very heavily processed food vegan diet. So a lot of fake chicken, fake cheese, a lot of that stuff was in my diet. And I felt okay. I was already eating bad food before that anyway. So it was like going from one bad diet to another bad diet. And I didn't feel any difference. Then I learned about the benefits of a whole foods plant-based diet, which is a version of the vegan diet. And in my opinion, probably like the healthiest diet you can eat because you're eating very natural foods, very, just very natural foods. And once I started eating that way, I felt weak and just not great for about a month or two. I think my body was adjusting because my whole life I was never eating good food. So I think my body was like detoxing or something. And then after the detox, I actually started feeling high energy. I felt my recovery improve. That was the biggest thing. My recovery now is really great from this diet. A lot of things. It was easy to maintain my weight. And I felt great. And so that's the diet that I promote. I promote people eating whole plant foods. You can eat a high fat, whole foods plant-based diet. You can eat a high carb, whole foods plant-based diet, high protein, raw, starch solution. There's so many variations of this diet. People think vegan is very restrictive, but once you really dig in, you can actually find that there's very many variations of a vegan diet that whatever diet that suits you, there's a vegan diet out there that will complement your food preferences and your athletic needs. So anyways, that's the diet I promote. And that was the diet I was on before the ketogenic diet. And once I got back to my regular diet, I started feeling a lot better and training was better, competition was better. So that's the diet I'm going to stick to myself.
Interesting. So to follow this, you just came up with an ebook on recipes for vegan. It's super cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part. What was it?
How did you come up with the recipes? Was it hard or was it like a long process?
It's basically, it kind of took me 3 years, I guess, because not working on it, but, these are the recipes that I basically came up with after 3 years being vegan. These are the recipes that I usually have in my own life. And I wanted to share it with everybody because a lot of people think, oh, vegan is expensive. They think it's very, you have to plan everything. They think that it's not nutritionally adequate for athletes as well. And they're all myths. It's not expensive. Like the food that I'm talking about is peasant food, poor people, this is the food that poor people eat. Potatoes, rice, beans is the bulk of my diet. These foods are pennies, so they're not expensive. They think it's hard to plan. Most of the recipes I think I put on there are between 5 to 20 minutes to make. It doesn't take that much time. And then nutritionally adequate for athletes. We're talking about like the most nutrient dense foods on the planet, vegetables, fruits, legumes. If these types of foods are making the bulk of your diet, there's so many nutrients that it's so hard to be deficient in anything. It's very rare to be deficient when you are eating a whole foods plant-based diet. Now, if you're eating a junk food vegan diet where you have Oreos, French fries, sugary cereals, that type of stuff, then yeah, if you're vegan, then you might have some deficiencies. But again, if you have a whole food plant-based diet, very hard, and your body tends to recover faster, have more energy when it has more nutrients. And when the nutrients are coming from anti-inflammatory sources, or they're coming from alkaline forming sources like plants, then your body tends to thrive better. It tends to function better. Whereas if it's eating a lot of animal products, there's a lot of inflammation, there's a lot of toxins, and harmful products from animals that your body won't be able to function as normally as if it were on anti-inflammatory plant foods. So that's where it all comes from for me. I wanted to share that knowledge with everybody, at least my opinion, and I wanted to put it into a book because a lot of people ask me like, oh, I wish I could eat like you, or all this stuff. And I'm like, you can, like, it's not that hard. And that's why I make videos on it. And I want to try to, push people to, not push people, but, give them ideas, give them ideas that the ways that I live my life is not as hard as you really think. Like the food that I eat is not as expensive or as hard to make as you would think. So I put it all into a book. So now when people ask me like, oh, I wish I could eat like you, I'm like, here, I have a book. You can. I have most of my recipes are on here, and they're specific for athletes as well. So it's very, very healthy, very beneficial. So yeah, it's just once I started it, I think it took me a month to put together, and maybe another month to edit it and find a website to put it on and to promote it the right way. So really, it was really a 2-month process. But again, all the recipes are the recipes that I eat on a regular basis.
Awesome. Wow. So did you learn all this like online, or did you study it at school?
Yeah, I started online. I started, just subscribing to YouTube channels that are either nutritionists or doctors. And I was very interested in it. So I actually started studying for it in school. So I'm majoring right now in dietetics and nutrition. So hopefully in about a year or 2 years. In 2 years, hopefully I'll have my degree, and then I'll also be a registered dietitian. So yeah, I'm in school for it right now. So it's a huge interest of mine. I study a lot. I read the research. So I'm very, I'm really into the research right now. So when people ask me about the nutrition about it, I can answer most questions with confidence.
Cool, interesting. So in the future, because you're studying nutrition, do you think you will transition more into guiding people on their nutrition, or you will stay on the physical side, or maybe both? I don't know.
Yeah, I eventually would like to have like my own business where I do consulting for nutrition and even for training too. Kind of like this, on like a Zoom or like a Skype call, and I can do meal plans and grocery lists for people and help them out with weight loss or athletic performance. So yeah, I would love to use my degree in nutrition for to keep informing people on YouTube and also have my own practice.
Okay, interesting. So let's get more into some more technical stuff now.
Yeah.
I saw your challenge about a grip. Like I tried it just before. I think I lasted like 2 minutes on the bar, and you stayed like 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So what are your tricks? How did you do it? And did you get the national record, by the way, the official one?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I have the national record officially for the longest bar hang challenge, which is cool. And I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I can name a few people that if they went in front of an official, they could probably beat me or beat the time that I set, which was like 15 minutes. The last one I did was about 25 minutes, and training for it is, I think I just happened to be good at it because of all the ninja training that I do. Because I never really specifically trained for it, except for right before a few weeks leading up to the 25-minute one that I did. I started doing, so the dead hang that I do, I have only I have like one arm, and I shake out this one, and then I switch hands, and that helps me last very long. So when I train, I try to train only staying with two hands. Like, I'm not allowed to take one hand off. I have to stay with two hands. And I can usually last only like 4 minutes if I don't shake out. So I would do a lot of sets of that. And I would also, I would practice after my training. I would hang on a bar with two hands, and I would just hang as long as I can. And I would do that 2 to 3 times a week. And I did that for about a month or two before my attempt to see how long I can actually do it. That's the only thing I really did. Other than that, the amount of ninja training that I do that focuses on different types of grip strength, cliff hangers, fat grips, rock climbing, all of that grip training that I do also helps me out a lot. Yeah. So I think for me, I just happen to have a good dead hang because of all of the ninja training that I do. What else was I gonna say? But I think it's also mental too, because it's very boring to hold on to a bar, Yeah. Like when I first did it, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna think about for how long I'm gonna try this for, So I think it's a lot of it is mental, because I know a lot of people that have the ability to do 25 minutes, but they may not have the mental toughness to do it. So I think it's definitely a lot mental for ninjas.
Interesting. So another thing that really interests me, because I think that I would fail on this kind of obstacle in Ninja Warrior, is like balance. It's kind of tricky to train for it as well, no? Do you have some tricks, or how did you train for balance?
Balance, it is tricky because sometimes it's dangerous too, because of the obstacles that they choose for us on the show. Sometimes it's very hard to replicate in a gym environment when there's no water. At least in the show, you're safe, you fall in the water. But in the gym, you have to really get like extra padding to make sure you're safe when you do it. So the show usually has fast balance. So it's more agility than it is like actual balance. Like if you think of a slack line or like a slack line, it's very slow and controlled. But I think the show thinks that's boring or it takes too long. So they're more interested in putting fast balance obstacles where you have to run very fast and have precision with your feet. So training for that is more tricky and more dangerous. So I have to find ways where I can have something that I can run across very fast, and work on my foot precision, and stuff that is also unbalanced, something that will fall when I touch it. So usually I like to do like tires is one of my favorite ways. So I'll set up small tires in a row, and I'll run across the tires on top of them. That makes sense?
Yeah.
It's almost like a domino. So if you push the tire, they'll fall. So I have to run on top of the tires very fast. And if I don't run fast enough, then I fall. So that's one of my favorite ways to do it. And then for slow balance, you only really see it in like gym competitions. So the way I've practiced that is a lot of slack line. Slack line is very good for slow balance. And then any weird objects I can find at the gym, I just put them, on the floor, and I try to walk across it for, multiple times. I did a few videos too. I think I did. What was the video called? I think it's like training secrets for slow balance, and also I made a training secrets for fast balance as well. So I talk in depth about how I train for slow balance and how I also train for fast balance. But those are the two like main ways that I do it. Also sprints. That's another one for fast balance. Just doing sprints. You want to be very explosive, because a lot of the time is if you can run fast enough, even if you trip in between a fast balance obstacle, you may still be able to dive and get to the platform in time.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting.
Yeah.
I know you talked earlier about doing 5 one-arm pull-up. I'm like, wow, that's quite insane. So how do you train for like upper body strength?
For the one-arm pull-up right now, I can do on a good day, I can do like 3.5. Like I can do 3 and then I'm almost at 4. So I'm getting the 4. But yeah, usually I'll just do as many as I can without any, as many one-arm pull-ups as I can do. And then I'll take a break and I'll try it again. I'll be able to do like 1 or 2 more. And then I go to a machine. I don't know if you've seen it, where it's like a pull-up machine, and then you put weight on it. And then when you do the pull-up, it takes weight off of you.
Yeah, I saw this.
I don't know. Yeah, so I do that, but I do it with one arm. So
Okay.
I put like 10 pounds first, and I'll be able to do like maybe 5. And then I'll do, it's called drop set. So I'll take 10 pounds off of my weight, and I'll be able to do like 5, and then I can't do any more. And then I'll put, 30 pounds off of my weight. So give me, help me with 30 pounds. And then I'll do maybe like 3 more, and then I'll go to 50 pounds, and then I'll do maybe like 3 more. So then I'll do 3 drop sets of that on each arm, and that's like 1 set. And then I'll do about 3 sets, and that will kill my arms. And I've been slowly progressing with the pull-up. It's hard for me to work on pull-ups because I have so many other things I want to work on for Ninja, and the one-arm pull-up is more it's just something I want to do, but I have more important goals that I want to do for Ninja. So sometimes I'm not able to work on it as much as I would want to. But yeah, I find that machine helps me a lot.
So what are your goals currently for Ninja? What are you working on at the moment?
My midterm, actually, I can just read it off of my board really quick.
Oh yeah,
That's great. Let's see, short term right now. There's a mini competition every week in my gym.
Yeah.
So it's like a competition for fun, and my goal is to win it 7 times in a row. So for 7 weeks in a row. So so bronze is 3, silver is 5, gold is 7, and I've gotten 3, and I haven't gotten 5 yet. Every time I get to 4, I usually lose or make a stupid mistake. So that's one of my goals. I have a 15-foot warped wall at the gym. Warped wall is one of my weaknesses. So I have a goal of doing it 5 times in one day, 3 times in a row, and then 1 time during the mini competition.
Okay.
So I've done the first 2, but I haven't done it in the mini competition yet. So I have to do it in competition. So I haven't done that yet. Salmon ladder burnouts is a workout that I do on the salmon ladder. It's very intense. I think it's like, what is it? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 10 moves in a row on the salmon ladder. And then 1 minute rest, 10 moves again, 1 minute rest, 10 moves again. So my goal, that's 1 set. So my goal is to do that 3 times before October 24th. So I did it 2 times already, so I have to do it 1 more time.
Okay.
So those are my short term. And then midterm, I want to win a National Ninja League qualifier. So I've qualified for national. It's a league outside of the show that I talked about before.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to win one of those competitions. So I haven't done that yet. At the end of the season, there's a ranking system, and I want to finish. Gold is top 5, silver I want to finish top 10, and bronze is top 15.
Okay.
And then I have the one-arm pull-up where I want 5 on the right. Yeah, 5, and then 3, and then 2 is bronze.
Okay.
So, yeah, those are just some, but yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, you talked about the National Ninja League. It's pretty cool. Do you think how do you think it will grow in the next years?
A lot, hopefully, because I think it's more realistic because they have their own qualifiers, and um, it's the show. You have to make a video, and they pick you based off of if they like you. You know, you don't necessarily have to be good or an athlete. You can just have a very good personality, and they'll pick you. So sometimes they pick people who they like rather than athletes, and so it's not. Sometimes that's it's not really like a sport, in that sense. So National Ninja League is more of like a sport. You can qualify, you can compete or wherever you want, and if you're good enough, then you get to the finals. And then so it's just more like a sport. I like that in that sense, and it grows every year. If you look at the national finals from the first year to the third year, it just keeps getting better. And I think eventually they're gonna have sponsors. Eventually they're gonna have more money, and eventually, hopefully, I think the goal is to get it on ESPN. Get it recognized, a real sport, so that the sport just continues to grow and grow and grow. And eventually, I don't know what would happen to the show. I don't know if it'll, who knows? It's a TV show. Eventually, it might might get canceled. So hopefully, something like this will take over. Is hopefully the goal.
Cool. So I guess now the next step is American Ninja Warrior 11, right? So
Yeah.
How are you preparing this time regarding your 3 last experiences? How do you use it to train more efficiently?
I think now it's just competing more, getting more comfortable with competition. I still get nervous. I still I still get butterflies in my stomach when I compete. It's normal. It's just the way you handle it. The more successful athletes on the course, they have more experience. They feel more comfortable on there. So I think I need to just compete more and focus on the little things. Obviously, still try to get stronger in training physically, but also focus more on how I can be a better competitor, how I can be more efficient in going through certain obstacles, so that I'm not wasting time and wasting my energy. So mostly little things like that. And I think it's great that I can compete in like a national ninja league, and it gives me that type of experience and that type of training that I can't really create myself in the gym environment. So yeah, I think for me personally, it's just more competition. I feel strong. I feel like I'm getting stronger every month. I can see improvements. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. So yeah, it's just more experiencing in competitions.
Okay. And I think you said in one video that now you're doing more rock climbing.
Yeah.
Affecting like your overall strength, your balance. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know why. When I first started, I really liked rock climbing. I really saw improvement. I'm still not sure how to talk about rock climbing, because I haven't I'm not a professional rock climber. I haven't rock climbed my whole life. Personally, now I actually stopped rock climbing a few months ago. I would say I stopped 3 months ago. I've been focusing only on obstacles as training for Ninja Warrior, and also weightlifting / conditioning, and very intense cardio, high intensity interval training cardio. And I actually see more improvement now without the rock climbing more recently.
Okay.
So more recently, I'm convinced that I don't need rock climbing. I can just get better with ninja obstacles. But I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know if I don't want to say that, because I don't want people to think that you shouldn't rock climb, because maybe other people really believe in rock climbing and they see a lot of improvement. So I'm not really sure how to talk about it. So just for me personally, past 3 months, I've been seeing more improvement with just focusing on Ninja Warrior obstacles for grip strength than I did before implementing rock climbing. But maybe maybe for other people it's different. So I think everybody's different, and you should experiment yourself, 3 months with rock climbing, see how it is, and then 3 months without, see what works better for you. But yeah, personally, I've been doing Ninja Warrior obstacles, and that's been showing a lot of improvement recently.
Okay. Something I wanted to talk about as well is the experience of trying to get on the show American Ninja Warrior. From what I understood, it's pretty hard and can be pretty painful when you work online and you wait for days.
Yeah.
What was your experience like? Like the 3 years, was it more like easier one of those years to get on the show?
So say that one more time, the last part.
Was it easier to get on the show the first year, the second year, the third year? Did you have to...
I'm not sure. I think yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty much the same every year, I would say. I would say if you're gonna try to be on it, don't spend a lot of money or too much time on your video, because it's just hard to get on the show. I think they look for very specific people, and even if your video is amazing and you spend like $1,000, getting it professionally done, they still might not like you, So it just depends. I would say focus more on the story. If you really want to get on, have a story that that could be shown on TV, that people can be inspired by. Why do you want to run the course? What type of people do you want to inspire? So focus more on the story. You don't need to put in a lot of ninja stuff on there. You just need to put the most important things, or you need to put in how do you say, like the best things that you can do, like the most impressive things that you can do. That's all you really need. So it should only be like 30 to 40 seconds of you doing ninja. The rest should be you telling your story. You should also be able to talk in front of the camera comfortably. You don't want to look like a robot or like uncomfortable. Yeah. They want to know that you can talk in the camera, and yeah, just be very very genuine about it. You don't want to be fake. You don't want to lie or anything about yourself. When you make a video, you tend to see if you're being dishonest or not being genuinely yourself. So I would say, yeah, just be yourself. Only show the important ninja stuff, what you can do, and try to be creative. You wanna, if you can make him laugh, that's great. Usually the first 20 seconds is important. So if you can implement some kind of joke in the first 20 seconds, that'd be great. You wanna, if you can make them laugh, they love that. So yeah, just be genuine. But it's tough, man. Like a lot of people that should be on the show don't get on the show. So sometimes they call them for 3 years straight, and then the 4th year they don't call them, and then the 5th year they call them back. So it's very random. You never know what's gonna happen. You never know who's watching your video either. There's not just one person. There's multiple people, different people every year that watch your video. So you just gotta, I guess, be a little bit lucky as well.
Okay, interesting. What are your goals on YouTube, about your YouTube channel? Where do you want to go? Do you want to change a bit the style of your videos, or do you think it's quite interesting how they are?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm still growing. I'm still finding my editing techniques and style. But eventually, yeah, I would love to see it grow. I would love to inspire more people to just be a healthier human being. I think this is my overall message. Of course, I would love the world to go vegan overnight. Not realistic. So if I can just help people reduce the amount of animal products that they include on a daily basis, that's great. I think that's a win. If I can inspire people to get up off the couch and do more exercise, great. I think that's a win. So even if I just inspire a few people to change their lives, it's well worth it. But yeah, I would love my channel to grow even more. I would love people to develop healthier habits, because just the world that we live in today, in the United States at least, is very bad. So many people are obese. So many people just play video games all day and eat crap. So yeah, I hope that my channel can grow in that sense, and I can make more videos on nutrition, more videos on Ninja Warrior, and anything that people want to see from me. Yeah, hopefully that's the path that it'll take.
Nice. Okay, so I think we can go to the last question, but I might separate in two parts because I guess the answer is going to change.
Okay.
So what advice would you give to someone that wants to go more into ninja training, that wants to compete maybe on the show or like at a national level?
Yeah.
In the US and outside of the US? I think it's going to be different, right?
Okay. So for the US, I would say just start, Google whatever ninja gym is in your area, and just start training. If you don't have one in your area, maybe build something yourself in your backyard, or invest in a campus board. It's a climbing tool. Make your own pegboard in your room. I mean, there's many ways to have something in your house or out or in your backyard that would help you a lot. Look up National Ninja League competitions, see if you can travel to any of them. And yeah, just do things like that. Rock climbing as well helps. Doing parkour helps as well. You can find gyms like that. Great. And just have fun. Don't make it so serious. A lot of people take it too serious. They train every single day for 5 hours straight, and they get burnt out, and they get tired, and they don't see improvements, and then they get frustrated and depressed. And it's happened to me. I overtrain all the time. I used to. So now, and I try to just have fun with my training. I try to definitely take rest days. I know my body needs to take breaks sometimes. So when you train, just, have fun. You don't have to train super hard all the time. And yeah, that's how I would advise for anybody in the US. Outside of the US, I'm not really sure, depending on the country, how popular the show is. But same thing, I would Google Ninja Gym in your area if you can. If not, then I'm pretty sure there's a rock climbing facility around your area that's pretty popular. Parkour is pretty popular as well, or gymnastics is also popular. If you can find any of those kinds of gyms, they should have training that will benefit Ninja Warrior. So I would definitely go there. I know some countries have leagues outside of the show. Like I think Australia has Australian Ninja League or something like that. So if you can find a league outside of the show, great as well. And if you want to get into the show, same thing. You just try to make videos and get better at talking in front of a camera, develop a story, and also find people who are on the show. I think there's Ninja Warrior shows for most countries out there, most of the big countries. So find out where they're training, find out how they're training, and see if you can kind of implement that into your own training. So
awesome. So I think we are done. It was really, really cool. Thanks for sharing all of this with us. And so thanks for all of you watching. I don't know if you made it through all the video, but if you did, huge props. And yeah, leave a comment, leave a like, and go check out Calle's channel because it's amazing. And yeah, thanks a lot for being here. Maybe see you soon, and best of luck for American Ninja Warrior 11.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you having me.
See ya. Bye.
Bye, guys.